The galaxy teeters on the edge of annihilation. Two powerful coalitions dominate the stars, locked in a fierce struggle that has spanned decades. On one side, the Zenith Accord, a collection of the galaxy's most advanced and diplomatic races, unified by their shared belief in reason and order. On the other, the Marauder Conclave, a brutal alliance of warlike species, driven by a thirst for conquest and raw strength. Countless worlds have been scorched, entire systems reduced to rubble, yet neither side has managed to gain a decisive upper hand. The war has devolved into a brutal stalemate, a slow grind toward mutual destruction. Now, near the edge of known space, a final confrontation looms. Both coalitions have gathered their mightiest fleets, bristling with the latest weapons and defenses. This battle is meant to be a turning point, a bloody engagement that could end the deadlock once and for all. Command ships from both sides hover at the center of their respective armadas, surrounded by a sea of dreadnoughts, cruisers, and destroyers. Alien commanders issue terse orders, their voices sharp with tension. Crews stand at the ready, weapons primed. The silence before the storm presses down on every being present, a collective breath held in anticipation of the coming chaos. Then it happens. A colossal energy spike blares across the battlefield, interrupting every sensor reading. The alien fleets pause, their instruments overwhelmed by a sudden surge unlike anything they have ever detected. It's as if the very fabric of space is rippling, something immense pushing its way through from the void. Command decks erupt into chaos as officers scramble to decipher the readings. Panicked voices fill the airwaves, demanding explanations that no one can provide. From the dark expanse of uncharted space, a region marked on star maps as empty, unexplored, an object begins to emerge. At first, it's just a blur, a shadow against the shimmering backdrop of distant stars. But as it moves closer, it becomes clear that this is no ordinary ship. Its form is sleek and angular, covered in a dark, matte material that absorbs nearly all light. It glides forward with an eerie grace, its sheer size becoming evident as it dwarfs even the largest alien dreadnoughts. It is a giant among giants, casting a shadow over the entire battlefield. The arrival of this unknown vessel sends a wave of unease through both coalitions. Communications falter, sensor readings become distorted, and the calm, orderly formation of ships begins to break. The tension of imminent battle gives way to a different kind of fear, an instinctual, primal dread of the unknown. Alien officers exchange nervous glances, frantically trying to identify the newcomer. It's unlike any ship in their extensive databases, unlike anything the galaxy's greatest engineers could have imagined. A silence falls across the battlefield, a momentary ceasefire born out of collective uncertainty. Then, a message crackles across all frequencies, cutting through the static like a knife. The voice is clear, calm, and unmistakably human. This is the Phantom Dreadnought. We have observed long enough. Shock ripples through the alien ranks. The name means nothing to them, but the implications are staggering. A human warship, larger and more advanced than anything they've ever encountered, has chosen this exact moment to reveal itself. And with it comes the unspoken question: what else has humanity been hiding? The scene is set. The Phantom Dreadnought has arrived, and nothing will be the same. The arrival of the Phantom Dreadnought sends shockwaves through the alien fleets, but the moment of stunned silence is short-lived. Alien commanders bark frantic orders, demanding immediate scans and evasive maneuvers. Their ships begin to reconfigure into defensive formations, preparing for the unknown threat. Yet before they can regroup, the human warship makes its move. Without warning, the Phantom Dreadnought unleashes its first strike. An intense electromagnetic pulse, EMP, radiates outward in a brilliant flash, momentarily turning the darkness of space into a blinding white glow. Alien battleships caught in its radius flicker as their lights go dark, engines sputter, and control systems freeze. Dozens of ships, the pride of their respective fleets, are left adrift, helplessly floating in the void like debris. The EMP's effects ripple through the entire battlefield, leaving a trail of confusion and fear in its wake. Panic erupts among the alien ranks. Officers scream for status reports, but their comms are filled with static. Bridge crews scramble to restore power, their faces painted with the realization that their once mighty vessels have become sitting ducks. It's a nightmare scenario, an entire segment of the fleet rendered impotent in a single strike. But the Phantom Dreadnought is far from finished. It follows up with a second salvo, this time unleashing a devastating barrage of kinetic projectiles. Massive, railgun-fired rounds slice through the void at incredible speeds, smashing into the hulls of alien cruisers. The impacts are cataclysmic. Metal crumples like paper, entire sections of ships are blown apart, and explosions ripple through their decks. The alien defenses, designed to withstand plasma and energy weapons, prove useless against the raw, physical force of these railgun rounds. As the first wave of destruction unfolds, the human warship switches tactics yet again. It fires beams of searing plasma, bright streaks of blue that cut across the battlefield like the scythe of a grim reaper. Alien shields, once thought impenetrable, are torn apart with ease. The plasma beams slice through cruisers and destroyers alike, leaving glowing trails of molten metal and debris. Then come the energy torpedoes, brilliant orbs of light that streak toward the heart of the alien fleets. They detonate with the intensity of miniature suns, engulfing entire sections of the enemy armada in waves of blinding light and heat. To the horror of the alien tacticians, the Phantom Dreadnought doesn't remain stationary. Despite its enormous size, it moves with an agility that seems impossible. It twists and rolls, dodging incoming fire as if it can anticipate the attacks before they even happen. Alien captains shout orders to adjust their aim, but it's futile. Every countermeasure, every maneuver they attempt is met with a swift, devastating response from the human warship. It's as if the Phantom Dreadnought has already mapped out every possible action they could take. The battle, once poised to be a decisive clash between two great coalitions, devolves into a massacre. The alien ships are shattered, their formations broken. Panic spreads like wildfire. The phrase Phantom Dreadnought begins to echo across comm channels, a whisper of dread that carries the weight of realization. They are facing a force far beyond their comprehension. The alien soldiers, who moments ago believed themselves to be at the pinnacle of galactic power, now find themselves standing in the shadow of a technological specter, a human warship that defies the very laws of physics and strategy. The fear is palpable. They are not merely losing a battle. They are witnessing the unraveling of everything they thought they knew about warfare. In this moment, the legend of the Phantom Dreadnought is born. In the midst of the chaos, with the remnants of their fleets in disarray, the alien coalitions grasp at their last shred of control. They need answers. It's clear they are facing a force unlike any they've ever encountered, and their desperation pushes them to attempt something unthinkable. With all remaining power, they focus their efforts on establishing a communication link with the Phantom Dreadnought, hoping for a chance to negotiate, or at least understand what they're up against. The link crackles to life. Alien leaders, representing both the Zenith Accord and the Marauder Conclave, appear on the shared screen. They're a striking mix of species. The insectoid form of the Terek, the crystalline visage of the Theric, and the fearsome, armored bulk of the Drachnin warlords. Their faces, though alien, wear expressions that are universally recognizable. Fear mixed with a brittle veneer of defiance. They demand to know who dares intervene in their conflict. What right do you have to interfere? One of the Zenith leaders hisses, their voice laced with barely contained fury. Who are you to meddle in an interstellar war? The response comes calmly, without a hint of aggression. The screen flickers, replaced by the image of the human captain. Tall, with a bearing of quiet authority, the captain's face is partially obscured by the dim light of the bridge. Their uniform is pristine, marked only by a rank insignia and a cryptic code name, Spectre 1. The captain's gaze is steady, their voice even and composed, carrying a gravity that silences the alien leaders. "We are the Phantom Dreadnought," the captain begins. "We were created in secret, as humanity's final safeguard, a project initiated long before your species even became aware of our existence. For decades, we have watched from the shadows, hidden within uncharted space, assessing your actions and preparing for the moment when our intervention would be necessary." The alien leaders exchange bewildered looks, clearly unsettled by this revelation. They had believed they were the most advanced species in the galaxy, that their knowledge of technology and warfare was unparalleled. Yet here was a ship, a human ship, that had rendered their most powerful fleets helpless in mere moments. The captain continues, unperturbed by the growing unease on the screen. "The crew of this ship is humanity's finest," they explain. "Strategists who have studied every form of warfare known to the galaxy, engineers who crafted technologies beyond your comprehension, and pilots enhanced with AI and cybernetic implants that allow them to react faster than any organic being could. We operate as a singular, unified force. And the Phantom Dreadnought itself, it is powered by an energy source harnessed from deep space anomalies, enabling us to exceed the limits of speed, power, and endurance that your ships adhere to." A heavy silence falls over the communication channel. The alien leaders look as though the very ground beneath them has been ripped away. Everything they thought they knew about humanity, about the galaxy's technological landscape, has been shattered in an instant. They had always viewed humans as a minor, unremarkable species, barely worth their attention. But now they are confronted with a stark, uncomfortable truth. Humanity has not just been hiding its true potential. They have been watching, preparing, and waiting for this very moment. "We did not come here to conquer," the captain says, their voice taking on a softer, yet firmer tone. "We are here because your reckless conflict has threatened to consume not just your own civilizations, but the stability of the entire galaxy. The time for observation is over. The Phantom Dreadnought is here to end this senseless war, one way or another." The screen goes dark, leaving the alien coalitions in stunned silence. The name Phantom Dreadnought begins to spread like a chilling whisper, a tale of a ghost ship that had haunted the fringes of space, only to reveal itself when the galaxy was at its most vulnerable. It is a symbol of humanity's hidden strength, a reminder that the galaxy's most powerful species have been deceived by their own arrogance. The shock of this revelation leaves them reeling, as they come to terms with a new reality. Humanity is far more advanced than they ever dared to imagine. And now, they must decide how to respond to the ghost that has stepped out of the shadows. The battlefield is eerily quiet in the wake of the Phantom Dreadnought's devastating attack. Where once there were the roars of plasma cannons and the shattering of shields, now there is only silence and the drifting wreckage of alien ships. The surviving vessels of both the Zenith Accord and the Marauder Conclave, crippled and demoralized, turn and retreat into the darkness of space. The alien crews, once filled with pride and conviction, are now haunted by a single, resounding thought. Humanity has been watching all along, and they are far more powerful than anyone had imagined. The shock of the encounter spreads through the galaxy like wildfire. The unthinkable has happened. Two mighty coalitions, locked in a bloody stalemate for years, have been brought to their knees by a single human warship. In the aftermath, leaders from both sides are left reeling, struggling to comprehend the implications of what they have witnessed. With no other choice, the Zenith Accord and the Marauder Conclave call for an emergency ceasefire. For the first time in years, the warring factions set aside their hostilities and come together, not as enemies, but as allies united by a common fear: humanity. The emergency summit, held in the neutral territory of a drifting space station, is filled with tension and unease. Alien diplomats, generals, and strategists gather, their expressions a mixture of anger, confusion, and outright fear. Gone is the bravado that once dominated their negotiations. In its place is a stark realization. The delicate balance of power that had held the galaxy in a tense equilibrium has been shattered by the arrival of the Phantom Dreadnought. Now, Both coalitions are left scrambling to assess the true extent of humanity's capabilities. Speculation runs rampant in the days following the battle. Rumors circulate like a contagion, fueled by fear and uncertainty. Some claim that the Phantom Dreadnought is merely the tip of the spear, that humanity has an entire fleet of these ghost ships, lurking in uncharted space, ready to strike at a moment's notice. Others insist it must be a bluff, a one-of-a-kind vessel created as a last resort, a desperate gambit to project strength where there might be none. Yet no one knows for sure, and the uncertainty is far more terrifying than any concrete answer. As the great coalitions grapple with this new reality, smaller species and independent factions watch from the sidelines with growing anxiety. They had once believed their best chances for survival lay in aligning with the larger, more powerful coalitions. But now, faced with the undeniable display of human power, they begin to reconsider. Quietly, discreet emissaries are sent to Earth, carrying messages of goodwill and tentative offers of alliance. The once dismissed humans are now seen as a force to be reckoned with, a potential ally, or a terrifying adversary. Meanwhile, the Phantom Dreadnought fades back into the darkness from which it emerged, vanishing without a trace. One moment it's there, looming over the battlefield, and the next it's gone, like a ghost slipping back into the shadows. Its impact, however, is far from forgotten. In every corner of the galaxy, its name is whispered with a mix of awe and dread. It has become a legend almost overnight, a spectral force that haunts the dreams of alien strategists and political leaders. The galaxy now knows a harsh truth. Humanity is not the naive, unremarkable species they once thought. Behind their unassuming facade lies a formidable strength, honed in the shadows and ready to be unleashed at the moment of greatest need. The Phantom Dreadnought has sent a message that cannot be ignored, a silent declaration that echoes through the corridors of power. Humanity is prepared, humanity is watching, and humanity will not be underestimated again. As the summit ends and the alien leaders return to their respective domains, there is an unspoken agreement in the air. They will tread carefully from now on, their strategies and alliances forever reshaped by the specter of the Phantom Dreadnought. It is a new era in the galaxy, one marked by a lingering sense of foreboding and anticipation. The Phantom has disappeared, but its shadow remains, a silent reminder that somewhere out there, humanity is still watching, waiting, and ready to strike when the time is right.